Good afternoon. Like I told you in the class, if you do the review and you do the odd and you watch this video, I told you I would give you extra points, okay? Even, we're going to do in class. So we're going to go ahead and figure out the domain and range for number 1. So for number 1, you want to find the domain. So what you need to do is you need to look at the lowest x value. In this case, it's -7. The highest x value is 7. And you notice it's closed. So it's going to be equal to. And to represent all the numbers between -7 and 7, it's going to be x. And the numbers to the left of 7 are going to be less than or equal to. And the numbers to the right of 7 are going to be greater than or equal to. So that's the domain. The range, we're looking at the y values. So you want to look at the lowest y value. In this case, it's -4. You want to look at the highest y value, which is 4. And to represent all the numbers between -4 and 4, it's going to be y. Anything that's below 4 is going to be less than or equal to 4. Anything above -4 is going to be greater than or equal to. So that's going to be the domain and the range for number 1. Number 3 is different because we have an arrow that's indicating that it's going on forever, and it looks just like this. So the lowest x value is -6. The highest x value is infinity, so we're talking about all the numbers to the right of -6. So we're saying x is greater than or equal to, nope, not equal to, because it's open circle. So x is greater than -6, so that's going to be the domain. The range, you have to look at the lowest y value. In this case, it is -6. And it does go on to infinity. So it's going to be y is greater than, and since it's closed, it's going to be equal to y is greater than or equal to -6. Interval notation, it would have been -6 comma infinity. And for, no, it's going to be parentheses. Range is going to be bracket -6 to infinity. All right. Number 5, make sure that you use parentheses for number 5 and number 7. I know in this case we don't have negatives, but it says to evaluate each function for the given value. So this is your input. So it's going to be f of 2 equals parentheses 2 minus 6. In this case, the output is -4. Now, we do use Desmos. You could just type it into Desmos the way it looks like. So I'm going to do it right here on the side. So we have f of x equals x minus 6. And it does understand function notation. You see that? F of 2 is -4. So suppose I want to change the function x squared minus 2x plus 1. So f of 2 is equal to 1. So you would write f of 2 equals parentheses 2 squared minus 2 parentheses 2 plus 1. 2 squared is 4 minus 4 plus 1. So f of 2 equals 1. I'm going to be going back and forth. I'm going to be going back and forth from Desmos and from my review. So number 9, it says perform the indicated operation. So remember, this is not composition, this is actually multiplication. And so what we have is, we have h of n times g of n. So that will be n squared plus 2 times 3n plus 3. And you guys, some of you have been struggling multiplying binomials, and what you're going to do is you're going to use the FOIL method. N squared times 3n, which is 3n. N times n times n, so it's n to the third power. N squared times 3 is plus 3n squared. 2 times 3 is plus 6n. And then 2 times 3 is 6. You want to combine like terms. In this case, we don't have anything that's alike, so that would be the answer. Number 11. This is not composition. This is multiplication. So it's going to be g of x times h of x. So it's negative 2x squared minus 1 times 2x minus 2. So we have negative 2x squared times 2. You got to be careful. Negative 4, remember the variable, x squared. Negative 2x squared times negative 2 gives you positive 4x squared. I'm going to stop. I made a mistake. Negative 2x squared times 2 is negative 4x squared times x. That's x times x times x, so that's x to the third power. You got to be able to recognize your mistakes. Negative 2x squared times negative 2 is 4x squared. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. And then negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 2. So the product of g of x and h of x is negative 4x cubed plus 4x squared minus 2x plus 2. Now 13 is composition, and you got to be careful. So we have g composition of h of t. Please do it the way I'm showing you, and you'll get it right. You have g composition of 3t minus 5. So you have negative 2 times 3t minus 5 squared minus 4. So what I'm going to do is on the side, I'm going to do 3t minus 5 times 3t minus 5. You have to do the FOIL method. 3t times 3t gives you 9t squared. 3t times negative 5 gives you negative 15t. Negative 5 times 3t will give you negative 15t. Negative 5 times negative 5 is plus 25. So it's going to be 9t squared minus 30t plus 25. And since you're going to multiply by negative 2, I'll do it right here. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18t squared. Negative 2 times negative 30 gives you positive 30t. And then negative 2 times 25 gives you negative 50 minus 4. Combine like terms. So it's going to be negative 18t squared plus 30t minus 54. So yeah, this one was harder than the one that I did in class. So we're going to find g of h of x. So we have g of h, which is 2x plus 3, equals g is x squared. So it's 2x plus 3 to the second power plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So I have to do the FOIL method for 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3 because it's squared. 2x times 2x gives you 4x squared. 2x times 3 gives you 6x. 3 times 2x gives you 6x. 3 times 3 gives you 9. So you have 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. So you have, I just did this right now on the side. So it's 4x squared plus 12x plus 9 plus distributive property. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 3 is 9. Combine like terms. 4x squared. 12x plus 6x gives you 18x. 9 plus 9 gives you 18. We have the absolute value of n minus 10 equals 19. So the two equations are negative 9, n minus 10 equals 19, or n minus 10 equals negative 19. You add 10, you add 10, so you have n equals 29. You add 10, you add 10, so you have n equals negative 9. And I did ask all of you to check. So I'm going to pull up Desmos so you can check. So to check, you're going to use the absolute value, which is here at the bottom. If you can't find it, oh, it's right here. Absolute value. So you have 29 minus 10. So you see how I'm using Desmos. And then we have absolute value, negative 9 minus 10 gives you 19. So that's how you check. Okay, I'm going to go to number 19. Now, number 19, you're going to have to make sure you only have the absolute value by itself, okay? So no, you can multiply times 6. What you have to do first is subtract 10, subtract 10. You got to make it look like you only have the absolute value. So you have 6 times the absolute value of 3m plus 6 equals 54. Divided by 6, divided by 6. So you have the absolute value of 3m plus 6 equals 9. So ultimately, you just want the absolute value. That's all you want. You want the absolute value. So what you're going to have to do now, you have 3m plus 6 equals 9, which a lot of people forget, or 3m plus 6 equals negative 9. You subtract 6, subtract 6. So you have 3m equals, this is 0. You're left with 3 divided by 3. So the first possible answer is 1. Subtract 6, subtract 6. You got to solve the equation for the second equation. So you have 3m equals negative 15 divided by 3. So m equals negative 5. And suppose that this is an answer, right? See how that could be an answer? Well, I give you permission to use Desmos to do guess and check if you get nervous. So here what you would do is you would write 10 plus 6, absolute value, 3 times 1 plus 6, and so does it equal 64? Yes. Okay, so now let's check the other answer, negative 5. So we have 10 plus 6, absolute value, 3 times negative 5 plus 6. And you get 64, yes. So that is the answer. So you can use guess and check in case you get nervous, and you can also show it using the long way, okay? #21. So once again, we want to have, when we're solving this equation, we want to have the absolute value by itself. So what we have to do now you have to subtract 7 from both sides. So you have -9 absolute value, 2 plus 5x equals, in this case it's -72. Divide by -9. Divide by -9, so you get the absolute value of 2 plus 5x equals 8. So like I told you, what you want is you want the absolute value by itself. You want the absolute value by itself. And since we have the absolute value here, now we can write the two equations. So we have 2 plus 5x equals 8, or 2 plus 5x equals -8. Subtract 2, subtract 2. So you have 5x equals 6 divided by 5. So one of your answers can be 6/5. Subtract 2, subtract 2. So you have 5x equals -10. Divide by 5, divide by 5. So x equals -2. So once again, we're going to check our answer using Desmos. So we have the original one. We have 7 plus absolute value. Oh, I missed the 9, right? -9 absolute value 2 plus 5 times, in this case it is 6/5. And did we get -65? Yes. 7 minus 9 absolute value, and we have 2 plus 5 times -2. Do we get -65? And so that's the answer. Okay. We're going to go to 23. Now you're solving the inequality and graphing the solution. So we have the absolute value of m minus 5 minus 9 less than or equal to 2. Just like we did earlier, you need to have the absolute value by itself. So we have to add 9 to both sides. So you have the absolute value of m minus 5 less than or equal to 11. Once you have that, then you can write your two inequalities. M minus 5 is less than 11, so you hear the word and. You have m minus 5 greater than or equal to -11. Remember, you want to have the absolute value on the left side. So when it's an and, a testing strategy, it's going to be the solutions are going to intersect. So we know that C is an OR graph because the answer is either or. So now it's between A, B. I would say D is incorrect, but we're going to check here. So we're going to add 5. So M is less than or equal to 16. 16. So the only one that has 16 is B. M is less than or equal to 16. That's what we have. M is greater than or equal to -6. In this case, the answer is B. Okay. And the and means there's an intersection. Okay. A is wrong because look at the equals. It's open circle, so that one would definitely be wrong. So you could have done this just by testing strategies, okay? So on the test, make sure that you use your testing strategies. 25, I'm going to do one using substitution, but like I told you, you can use Desmos, and I'm going to use Desmos to check my answer. So 25, I have x minus 2y equals negative 5. I'm going to solve for x. So x minus 2y equals negative 5. You add 2y to both sides. So x equals 2y minus 5. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to substitute into the second equation. Negative 7 parentheses 2y minus 5 plus 7y equals 7. So you have negative 14y, that's a distributive property, plus 35 plus 7y equals 7. Combine like terms, negative 14y plus 7y gives you negative 7y plus 35 equals 7. Subtract 35 from both sides. So you have negative 7y equals negative 28. Divide by negative 7. So y equals 4. So now I'm going to go back to this equation up here. So you have x equals, and I'm going to substitute 2 times 4 minus 5. X equals 8 minus 5, which gives you 3. So my solution to this system is 3 comma 4. And if you want to use Desmos, like I said, you can use Desmos. So we go to Desmos and just type in both equations. So we're going to type in both equations. So we have x minus 2y equals negative 5. And then the other equation is negative 7x plus 7y equals 7. And the answer was 3, 4. So there's the answer, 3, 4. 27, I'm just going to use Desmos and show you. Type in x plus 3y equals negative 15, right? The other equation is negative 2x minus y equals 15. So the answer to this will be, so the solution is negative 6, negative 3. That's where both of them intersect. Okay. Okay, 28, we're going to use elimination to solve this. What I would do with the first equation, I want to eliminate the x, I would multiply times negative 2. So that would be 2x plus 32 equals 19 times negative 2, that's negative 38. And we have negative 2x minus 32y equals 14. Now you notice that the x will cancel, so we have 2x minus 2x. 32y minus 8y gives you 24y equals negative 38 plus 14 is negative 24. Divide by 24. Y equals negative 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the second equation. I'm just selecting it. You can select the first one. Negative 2x minus 8 times negative 1 is equal to 14. So you have negative 2x plus 8 equals 14. Negative 2x equals 14 minus 8 is 6. So x equals negative 3 if you divide by negative 2. We're going to check using decimals. You can type it in the way it is, negative x minus 16y equals 19. Made a mistake, 19. And then you have negative 2x minus 8y equals 14. And there's our answer, negative 3, negative 1. Negative 3, negative 1. For number 30, I'm going to use Desmos to solve this system. So I have 8x plus 6y equals negative 30. The second equation is 4x plus y equals negative 29. And you notice the answer is negative 9, 7. So for 33, we have to write the inverse. So here's for number 33. So you have y equals x plus 5. So to write the inverse, you switch the x and the y. And then you solve for y. So y equals x minus 5. So your answer is C. 35. Which of the following describes the translation y equals x to y equals x plus 7 and then minus 2? Minus 2 means it's going to go down, so it's not going to be D. Plus 7 means it's not going to go right, it's going to go left. So now it's between A and B. This one says 2 units down. Isn't that 2 units? So your answer is A. I'm going to use Desmos here. I'm going to type in the parent function, y equals the absolute value of x. And then the other function, y equals the absolute value x plus 7. Minus 2. So if you look at the graphs, it did go left 7 units, and it went down 2 units, right? 35, 37, 37. Interesting, I think for 37 it has the same instructions like 36. It says compare each function with the parent function without graphing what are the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the transformation of the parent function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type this into Desmos. So you have y equals negative absolute value 3x minus 5 plus 5, right? Oh, on the outside. Plus 5. So here's our graph. Remember that the vertex is actually 1.666. So, comma 5. So you know that the answer will not be D. You know that the answer will not be C. And you know that the answer isn't negative 5 over 3. So your answer is A. So it's translated to the right 5/3 unit, which that's what we did here, 5/3 units. Down it doesn't look like the answer is correct here. That should have said up 5 units and reflected across the x-axis. This should have said up. So the only possible answer is A. Translated 5 units to the right. The axis of symmetry is x equal 5/3, but it doesn't go down, it goes up 5 units. And then it's reflected over the x-axis. So the only answer that it could be is A. 39 is repeated. Which of the following describes the translation of x plus 7 absolute value? Yeah, this is repeated. -2 goes down 2 units, and it goes 7 units to the left, so the answer is B. That one was repeated. 39. 41. Yeah, I don't think the answer is correct, 41 either. 43. Let's go to 43. We're going to type this into Desmos to solve the system. So we have negative 5x equals 5y plus 5. And then we also have 2x minus y equals 4. So the answer is 1, -2. Which ones are totally wrong? I would say B. I would say C. So now it's between A and D is the correct answer. And I showed you how to use decimals there. That's 43. 44 we did in class. 45. This is what I told you. How do you represent this in a matrix? You're actually using the coefficients, which is 10, 10, 7, 10, 5, and -6. So you're going to write the bracket. The coefficients is 10, -10, equals is this line, and then 5, and then you close the bracket. 7, 10, -6. So we have 10, -10, -5, 7, 10, -6. So the answer is B. That's 45. This is a matrix. That's a matrix. 47. It says solve the system using a table. Once again, I'm going to use Desmos. We have -2x minus y equals -1. We have x minus 5y equals -5. So the answer is 0, 1. Not 0, -1, not 1, 0, not -1, 0. So your answer is 0, 1. So it's B. That's 47. 49. How can you represent the system with a matrix? Once again, you're going to have the bracket. These are called coefficients. So you're just going to list them. 14, -3, 2 equals 3, 12, -2. This is called a bracket. Bracket. This is columns. These are rows. So it's going to be 14, -3, 2, 14, -3, 2, 3, 12, -2. So the answer is A. That's 49. 50, 51. Without graphing, is the system independent? Independent, that means they intersect. Or we say one solution. Dependent, same. Many solutions. Inconsistent, parallel. There's no intersection or no solution. So you have y equals -4, x minus 7. And then you have 4x plus y equals negative 7. And you notice it's the same line. So it's going to be dependent. So your answer is C. Dependent means it's the same line. 52, 53. So here's 53. We're going to write this as an equation. It's a matrix. So this column represents the x coefficients. This column represents the y coefficients. And negative 8 and 6 is going to be the answer. So you have 5x minus 13y equals negative 8. Negative 5x plus 6y equals 6. Which ones are wrong? This one, this one. So now it's between B and D. Your answer is D. So that's 53. 54. And that's it.